All right, everybody, welcome back to H2H. This is essentially the first true episode of the 2024 NFL season. We did have a futures episode that we did a couple weeks back that is posted on the channel if you guys do want to go ahead and check it out. But Tasos, we're back for season number 2. This is week number 1. I missed football. I know you did too. You got the retro Patriots gear on too. How are we doing today?
Doing good. It sucks. I don't want to say I wasted, but I used my celebration from last year on the week 0 episode. And it just feels like it would have been more fitting to do it now. I should have did it twice. I should have just celebrated 2 times.
We'll pop a picture up of that so people can see it on this one. But yes, we did drop our futures picks in episode, 1 of season 2. This is episode 2, week 1. We'll try and keep track of that throughout the year. But if you guys don't know what H2H is it is essentially an NFL picks show in which Tasos and I battle it out each and every week. We spin a wheel to see what category we end up taking picks from. And then whoever comes out with the most units at the end of the week gets a dub for that week. And Tasos absolutely pet me like a dog last year and said, good boy, as he took the win. So that's what he's referring to with all the, he had an interesting outfit in week number 1, in episode number 1, but yeah.
I was very close. I was this close to wearing it again, but I thought it might be a little overkill. I want people to think I'm a little bit humble. Humble.
you couldn't even keep the crown on your head half the time. So maybe
no, it didn't want to. And it still doesn't. I had an MLB video the other day where I wore it, and it literally just kept falling off the whole time. So
that's a sign your head's getting too big. Like you said, trying to be humble, you can't even do it. But guys, before we do jump into this, you'll see how it works in just a second. We have 3 rounds. The 4th round is the fade me round, and you'll see what that means when we get there. Essentially, one of us wins this wheel spin, and the other person has to fade the pick. So we guarantee at least one of us gets 1 pick right throughout the week. But this show and this season of H2H, we are very, very, very happy to partner up with a sponsor for it. And it's a brand that you guys have seen plenty on the channel because they're one of our favorite sponsors out there, Outlier. Tasos and I both swear by this tool, especially for player props. They help you out with spread picks, money line picks, and everything like that. We have a link to Outlier in the pinned comment. It's also in the description. You're going to get 7 days free of the tool. Just go try it for yourself. This thing has helped us cash in any sport that we partake in and everything like that. We've been rocking with them for a while. Both of us swear by that. So very excited to have Outlier along with this journey for H2H season number 2. Tasos, you think we should jump in and spin the wheel for the first time of the NFL season 2024?
I'm ready. But thank you. Special shout out to Outlier. They really are fantastic. I literally use them for, if you watch my MLB videos, my NBA, literally every video I do on the channel, I use Outlier. I always say, guys, if you want to make money in the sports betting landscape, you got to have the right tool. So I really do think Outlier is the best one that money can buy. And just because I know they're a sponsor and you guys are thinking maybe that's bullshit, but genuinely, even if they didn't sponsor, I would use it. Like, it really is. It's made me a better sports bettor. I know people in my life that use it. They say they become better sports bettors. That's not false. That wasn't written down on a card or anything. That's the truth. So if you guys, it's 7 days free. You can go ahead and check it out for yourself.
I mean, the cool thing is a lot of apps out there and sites out there, they'll do that 7 days free, but then you kind of get bombarded with who knows how much monthly price. Outlier is $19.99 a month afterwards. So even after that, what's after the 7 days? You hit a couple plays with Outlier, you're paying for your subscription in the month. Exactly. So very, very good tool.
It pays for itself, genuinely.
It literally, as long as you use it correctly.
Exactly.
But all right, let's jump into wheel spin number 1. If you guys do not know what this is, it's going to be a wheel with Tasos and myself on it. The names here, whoever wins this wheel spin will go first in our draft. We're going to spin a second wheel right afterwards, and it's going to tell us which betting category are we in. Are we going to be looking at player props, spread picks, totals, that type of things? You guys will see how it works. Tasos, do you have any preference on first or second for week 1 here? What do you think?
You know what, Ev? Every week until I start seeing some results from you, I'm gonna defer to you. I want to see you get the wheel. I want to see you get the advantage. I whooped you so bad last year, Ev. I want it to be a good contest this year for the people. I want the people to be able to get into it. So I need you to kind of hang with me here and not get your ass whooped this year.
I still had people on Team Ev last year. Those psychos out there, even though I was getting mollywopped. So shout out to them. But let's spin the wheel. Here we go.
If you're on Team Ev, you lost a lot of money last season. That's all I gotta say. Oh, there you go. There we go.
All right. So I am going to be up first. I kind of like that because I have a couple categories that are like I only have one, maybe two. So I don't mind that, but I'm going to get this set up first, and then I'm going to get the second wheel set up, and then we'll get going. So we got spread, we have money line, we have total, and then we have player prop as well. But we also have Thursday night / Friday night game, because obviously they're playing one in Brazil, right? So we have two sort of separated games before the Sunday game starts. So that is what is on the agenda here. Each time we spin the wheel and it lands on the wheel, we'll remove that selection. But there's 2 pie slices of each of these. So just FYI to you, Tasos, and then everyone else watching. But let's spin this wheel and see what category we're jumping into. Again, I'm going first. Tasos then goes. It's a snake draft, and then we stick in that category until the next one.
Here? Well, I guess it's too late now. It already.
Okay, well, the 2 that I didn't like, I'll tell you that. The spread is one of them. And it's not that I don't like it. I do have a couple spread picks that I like here, but that wasn't necessarily going to be my go-to. But I got kind of a weird one, and it's not all TF. I know last year I did all TF, and it blew up my face all the time.
Oh, boy.
But do you remember that strategy that was kind of working towards the end of last year for me, where I was taking these, like, huge plus money plays and a couple of them cash, and it kind of gave me a little leg up.
All you need is a couple of them to hit, and then you're
right. I'm kind of going in that direction here, and it's a play that you can get. Let's see what the book it's on. Plus 170 on DraftKings. Okay, I'm looking, and it's a first quarter spread, which is a wild move to pull out of all the games. I've been craving NFL and all that. I go first quarter spread, and we get spread pick. But I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys -1 in the first quarter. So there's push potential here against Cleveland. They are on the road, but I like the idea of this Cowboys team starting hot. They're super excited. CD has the contract. You know, this is kind of like the Dallas Cowboys MO. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland, wins this game by a touchdown, but first quarter, I don't mind the Cowboys coming out hot. The defense and offense both looking fairly surface level and looking flashy to start the game. Again, that's plus 170. Before you ragdoll the pick, we got to remember odds. Plus 170 for them to be up by 2+ essentially first quarter there.
I actually don't have a ton to say about it. I'm not gonna tear into first pick. Honestly, the only, and I do like your reasoning, because I do think Dallas, out of the 2 teams, Dallas would probably be the team that would come out a little bit quicker. Mm-hmm. The only thing I'd be worried about is these are 2 pretty good defenses. There's a really good chance this game comes out like 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. I could very much see that being the case.
Yep.
That's the only thing. I don't think Cleveland's going to win the first quarter. I genuinely don't. My biggest fear would be that it's going to be like a 3-3 tie at the end of the first, or a 0-0 tie. These are 2 really good defenses.
Right. I could totally see that. And again, like, if this wasn't plus 170, and I say that a lot when we're doing this, like, this wouldn't be on the radar. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're getting pretty good odds just to kind of bet on the team that does this sort of, not year in and year out. I think they're pretty 50-50 in their last like 5 or 6 years opening day. But I like the idea of them being that flashy team against the gritty team that may end up pulling out the game ultimately, but giving them in the first quarter -1.
Yeah, like you said, for the plus money value, I mean, you can't really beat that. I'll give you credit, Ev. I think we're off to a good start. Can we give everybody just a round of everybody in the comment? Just comment Ev. Just comment Ev down below if you're watching right now, because that's a great pick. It's a great start to the year. I want this to be a contest this year. I don't want to beat you by 10 units this year, Ev.
Do you think I believe that little smirk on your face for 1 second?
I really want you to be in it this year. I want you to be neck and neck with me. I want a little competition. No one wants to win unless you're a college football team. Nobody wants to win 73-0. You know what I mean? I live for those contests.
You're in it for the fight. You're in it for the fight.
I'm in it for the fight. I'm in it for the glory.
All right. So what's your spread pick here?
All right. So my spread pick here, I have a couple options here. I'm gonna go a little ballsy here. My first one, I'm gonna go with the Vikings -1 versus the Giants. I got it for -114 on DraftKings. It's available like on BetMGM and stuff like that, also for -110. But I know those sports books are not as easy to find for some states. So, I mean, DraftKings as -114 is available -110 on Caesars, BetMGM, a couple other sports books, wherever you can obviously find it. But I'm a Sam Darnold guy. I don't know why. I don't know why I believe in him. I just think he's been handed a raw deal between going to the Jets and then the Carolina Panthers, and then being a backup quarterback on the Niners. Like, I just feel like Darnold, I'm not saying he's going to win you a Super Bowl, but I think he could be a starter in this league. He could be, I don't know, Ryan Fitzpatrick, a guy who can start you a few. You're never going to win a Super Bowl with him, but he can get you there. He can get you to the playoffs at least. I think the Vikings, look, they definitely are not as good as they were a year ago, but I don't think they've fallen off that much. I mean, obviously, Darnold is a downgrade from Kirk Cousins, but remember, they were 7-10 last season, and that was with Kirk Cousins missing most of the year. They didn't have a great record when Kirk Cousins went out. I mean, they were losing a couple games early in that year as well with Kirk Cousins. So they were a 7-win team last year. This Giants team, if I was a Giants fan, I know a lot of Giants fans in my life, I would sell all of your stock in this team. This team's hot garbage. Besides the defensive line, which is pretty solid, they went out and got Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau. You know all the names on the defensive line. On offense, though, this team is literally hot garbage. Malik Neighbors is basically what you're hanging your hat on to hopefully turn the ship around. And even then, it's Daniel Jones passing to him. I just think in this matchup, the Giants have a lot of question marks. They just still haven't answered. You lose Saquon Barkley. What is the running game going to look like? I think for the Vikings, it's mostly business as usual. I think Sam Darnold will be able to come in behind what is an okay offensive line, but he's got weapons between Jefferson and Addison, and obviously Hawkins is out right now. But I think that
Addison's questionable too, but I guess depending on that, because that was going to be one of the only things I say. It's like if it's just because Aaron Jones, so it's Jones. Like it's a decent, that we're only 1 year removed from him being really good. So it's like, this has got to be, I was like, going to agree with you, a fade the Giants pick more than like loving the Vikings pick. But it sounds like you're a big Sam Darnold guy, which I did not know. So that's different. But I am agreeing to fade the Giants. I am agreeing to fade the Giants. Hard knock team too. You know what I mean? Like it's the spot.
It's more about the Giants than it is about the Vikings. But I do like Sam Darnold quite a bit. I think that he is underrated. I think in the right system, I think he could be pretty darn good. The Vikings, a couple stats. I mean, this one may not mean much because we talked about it like a couple times in this show. Last year or years past doesn't really matter, but the Vikings have won 4 of the last 5 matchups versus the New York Giants. And the Giants are 5-10 in their last 15 games as an underdog, just like 33.3% hit rate on the money line. That's not even including spread. So 5-10 in the last 15 games as an underdog. I just don't. I know it's only a 1 point. They're only a 1 point underdog here, but I just like the Vikings here. I think Minnesota. I think a lot of people are down on them because of the JJ McCarthy and everything. I just think that people have a Sam Darnold bias, and rightfully so. Again, he hasn't had a great career this far, but I do think this Vikings team is slightly better overall than the Giants. Not by much, but all we need is 1 point here, and I think they're better, at least 1 point better than the Giants here.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think the only thing I mentioned is like this could be, and I'm not saying it will be, but this could be a game where like the Giants score a lucky touchdown, and I just don't know the offensive power of the Vikings to even kind of keep up with them. So we'll see how that one plays out. Again, if this was 2.5 and 3.5 or something like that, like I'd be curious to see where you come out on it. But exactly. So it's like that number just for them to essentially win the game, right? And both of our picks now have push potential. There's a little bit of zhuzh there that I can't necessarily argue. So I'm not all opposed to that.
Did you guys see Sam Darnold last year? A couple of those times when he came in for Brock Purdy, he had some zip on that thing. You gotta
settle down. Sam Darnold's gonna be your like guy this season now. You feel like you always find one of those guys.
I gotta say, if the Vikings do win this game, I might have to get a Sam Darnold Vikings jersey. I might look into it. I might have to.
All right, or just get like one of those patched jerseys that the moms wear that have like the multiple teams and stuff.
Yeah, like who is the Simone Biles? Didn't she have like isn't she dating somebody on the Bears? And it was like she came in, she had the jacket. It was like, just pictures of, I forget what the guy's name is he was on the Packers. Now he's on the Bears. Anyway, but she had a jacket with just all of him. It was just pictures of him all over the jacket. I might have to get a Sam Darnold one.
Yeah, I like that idea. Sam Darnold might even notice that. I feel like you might be his only fan. Just saying.
If he's watching right now, Sam, I believe in you. I might be one of the few, but I believe in you.
Surprisingly enough, you didn't have to say that based on your last spiel. I think he got that. But all right, let's jump into it.
USC, so it doesn't really make sense.
All right. We got round number 2. So again, this is a snake draft. You could see that we only have one more spread now on the wheel. And Tasos, you're starting us off in round number 2, right? Anything that you want. You asked me. We didn't get to it before I spun it, but anything that you like?
The world's my oyster, Ev. I'm comfortable with everything.
Man, I can't believe I'm going to sit through another year of these sayings, another year of these catchphrases. I do love them, but when I'm getting my ass handed to me, It's tough. But all right.
I'm just ready. You know what? I was super prepared today. This is just for people at home to know. I don't spend 24 hours with my picks. I literally do all my picks like an hour before the show, and I just kind of use my instincts and I just lean in. And I just found a lot of picks I like. Could be a bad thing, could be a good thing. I found quite a bit of value today in this, or I should say, for this week's slate.
I'm really itching for a Thursday night / Friday play. That's like the one I want, and not necessarily because I love I love the picks in there, but I'm itching to have like in the next few days something rolling for H2H. But all right, let's spin the wheel. Oh wow! Is this going to be the year? Is this going to be the year of Ev? You are starting it off.
They'll come.
So this is either a play in the Baltimore KC game or the Eagles and Green Bay game. I feel like I know where you might be going with this, but take it away.
Do I save this in the hopes that something else pops up? No, I guess I'll go ahead and use it now. I'm going to go with Chiefs Ravens under 46.5. It's available on FanDuel for -105. Look, guys, that playoff game last year, what was the final score? It was 17-10 Kansas City. It was a low-scoring game. These are two of the better defensive teams. Now, Baltimore's defense, I do think, takes a massive step backwards. They lose defensive coordinator McDonald, now the head coach of the Seahawks. They lost a couple of key pieces on the defense, so that stuff has to be taken into consideration. But the public's on my side here. If you look at the public betting, I should say the opposite. The sharps are on my side. The public's against me. So looking at the public betting percentages here, provided by Outlier, shout out to Outlier, 83% of all bet tickets right now are on the over, but 62% of all money is on the under. So what that tells you is the public's on the over, but the sharp bettors, the big bettors, the people who are putting like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 on these games, they're riding on the unders. Only 17% of the tickets are on the under, but yet 62% of the money is on the under. That tells you a lot of the professional bettors, a lot of the sharp guys, a lot of the wise guys are on the under here. So that kind of gives me a little bit of confidence in my pick as well. But look, these are two really good defenses. I think Kansas City here, their defense really, they lost L'Jarius Sneed, but besides that, they're returning a really solid defense. This defensive line is brutal, and the Ravens' offensive line also took a major step back this year. Chris Jones, Karlaftis, my Greek brother out there in Kansas City, that defensive line's rough, man. And they gave Baltimore fits last season. That's when Baltimore had a top 10 offensive line in the league. I don't know if this offensive line is top 10 anymore. It might just be outside of the top 10. I think this is a really good matchup for Kansas City. And then on the flip side, although I do think Baltimore's defense has decreased a bit, this team should still be solid defensively. The Chiefs also trying to figure stuff out with their wide receivers once again. Hollywood Brown, I think, is out for week 1. So you have a rookie in Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice. So I just don't see a lot of points being scored. Last year was 17-10 in that playoff game. And, you could throw 2 more touchdowns on that total. The under still would hit. So I just don't see this being an offensive shootout on either side. If anything, Kansas City maybe scores a little bit more. But I just don't see a ton of points being scored in this game. For almost even odds, too, great value, I think.
Yeah, and I like the idea of the the first game of the year kind of fading what everyone thinks. And you even illustrated it with the public money and the sharp money, right? It's like people are so, I just said I want a Thursday night pick, I want a Friday night pick because I'm so excited for football, right? Nobody is excited to go and bet an under.
No.
And if in this line, I believe I saw, let's see, Outlier actually can show you some line movement and whatnot too. So I want to see if I can find that. Yeah, this line has gone, let's see. This line has gone up. So people are taking the over, and the books are just continually moving it up and up. So you actually got a good deal based on, I guess, from a week ago too. This is it was 45 or 45.5. So good spot to get it, because I imagine if you are on the sharp side come Thursday, this number might not be as great, So you're getting it at 46.5 for near even odds. I don't mind that. I like the idea of everyone's excited. They're gonna go, and that obviously could adjust the line, but you're probably getting it at what I would consider maybe it's peak here. So nothing bad to be said there. I think both of these offenses may take some getting used to as well. Mentioning just like additions for Baltimore, right? Their new running back in the backfield, Derrick Henry. How is that going to work with a mobile quarterback and some high flyers, like Zay Flowers or whatever on the outside. Like, that's not exactly an offense that he's used to being in and all that. Could that result in more points? Sure. But even if he clicks and looks really good, then he's an under type running back. You know what I mean? So I don't mind that.
And the flip side of that too is like, again, the Ravens' offensive line, I don't know what people realize is they lost a lot. Like their offensive line is not nearly as good. Running up the middle against this Chiefs defensive line when your offensive line is not that good is a bit of a struggle, even for someone like Derrick Henry. That could be
exactly.
tough.
I think even if he gets going, if they say, oh my God, Derrick Henry is the piece we've needed and all that, and they give him the ball over and over again, trying to get him involved because he's early, that can promote an under game. You know what I mean? Like, clock's running, handoff, brute force football. So I don't mind the under pick here. I think I'm of the contrarian mindset of a lot of people being like, oh my God, I can't wait to bet this over because I want points on Thursday night. We have two amazing teams. AFC
Unders aren't
preview.
fun. I'll say it. Right. Unders are not fun. They're not. No one wants to watch a football game and cheer because there's punts. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to do that. Everyone wants fireworks, but the reality is, especially the week one, unders are probably safe bets in a lot of these games. That's just a fact.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. So, all right, my play here, and it's probably the most juiced play that we'll have in a while. However, it's actually Outliers calling it out as an EV play because I'm getting it at -142 on DraftKings. It's also -145 on ESPN, but then on MGM it's -150, 365 it's -150, FanDuel -152, and Caesars -155. And I don't think you're gonna like watching it because you don't want to root against this team based on our futures video. But I like the Eagles on the money line again, -142. I almost didn't want to touch this game because it's one of those weird in Brazil, like, you know, that type of thing. But I think we're both so high on the Eagles that it's easy to understand that this is a spot where they are going to come up fired up. They're going to come in fired up after last year. They got better in the offseason, like you mentioned in our preview episode with the, you know, I guess excluding the idea that Kelsey's gone. But even Green Bay, like I think a lot of people are high on them. Like they could come back and kind of come back down to reality. They were a little bit of a Cinderella team last year. The idea of this being a spot in which, you know, it's I guess not overseas, but in a different country and all that, kind of takes a backseat to how good I believe the Eagles are here in this spot. So Eagles money line -142. I think that there's really not much that Green Bay is going to do defensively to stop this team. Defensively, last year, I think Green Bay had like a top 10 defense, but they were really bad on third down. Eagles, one of the best teams on third down. They were really bad against the run. Eagles, I think, are going to be even better running the ball this year. And Green Bay's defensive line, not all that great. I know I just talked about Kelsey going down, but if you can't really get to Hurts and can't touch Hurts, he's going to have all the time in the world to decide if he wants to check down, he wants to throw a deep ball, or if he wants to go and do it himself. So I like the idea here. Eagles money line.
I agree with you 100%. Actually, the Packers scoring defense was top 10 last year, but pretty much every other statistical category, they weren't great. They had a pretty good defensive pass rush, but like they were one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL last year, like bottom three. Passing yards, they're pretty like their passing defense was solid, but their run defense was a problem. And the Eagles' run offense is looking to be really good. A really good offensive line. They add Saquon Barkley. Obviously, we know Jalen Hurts can run the tush push, all that stuff. Yep. I agree with you. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. We're now agreeing on all these picks, which is kind of scary.
This feels weird. Really this feels weird.
It's a little weird. I like the pick. Like I said, I really can't argue. I think the Packers are a younger, inexperienced team, and some of these neutral field games are kind of tricky. You know, their receiving core is all guys like under 25 years old versus the Eagles side. A lot of these, I mean, they played in a Super Bowl 2 years ago. I mean, these guys, a lot of experience on this team. These guys have been here before. I just feel like there's also more continuity, I feel like, with this Eagles team. Like, they've been together for a while now. You know, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, they've been together for a while now. I just feel like the Eagles are definitely the favorite for a reason here. Not to say that Green Bay doesn't have a chance to win. They definitely do. I think the Packers, they have a new defensive coordinator also, by the way, so that's a big – now, the Eagles have a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator, so it kind of goes – you know, negative both ways. But I just think that in this kind of a matchup, I think the Eagles have a little more continuity. And I think their defense is so much improved. They should be able to slow Green Bay down.
Right. And I will say too, it's like, I don't know how often you're going to get the Eagles against, yes, Green Bay's good, but I'm saying, I guess against anybody at like a minus in the -140s. Like, I think the Eagles are going to be a tough team to get at that price a lot this season. So I think that there's some value there. So that is what I'm rolling with there. And there we go. Now we have something to look for in Thursday night and something to look for in Friday night. We just accomplished that. We did it for the people and for ourselves. But we are going into round 3 now. I have not lost count of where we are. I am going first in round number 3. This is like, are we 2 different people this show? We're getting along. I'm remembering what round we're on and who's going first. But all right, let's go ahead and spin it. I kind of want a player prop here, just to get that involved. I do have some player props that I might even roll with as a fade me round too if I need to feel like I had to force anything. So let's see what we got here. Let's spin it.
I don't know what I have so many picks I haven't utilized yet. So I don't know.
Oh my god.
There's
something a brewing. There's something brewing.
That's how remember that's how it was last year.
Yeah.
That's how I was last year, calling it out. Yep. That could be Ev, this could be the year where you finally keep it close.
I thought it was going to turn into a nice little compliment, and then there was subtle finally there that really threw me off. All right. I'm not going to lie. I do have... Wow, this is actually a lot more difficult than I thought. I'm going to go with a plus money play. It's going to be on the team I just talked about, and it's because I think they're going to try and get at some point their new running back involved. Now, this could be some vultures from Jalen Hurts if they have any goal line attempts, anything like that. But I like Saquon Barkley over 0.5 touchdowns. He can catch one or run one. That is plus money on DraftKings. Everywhere else, it's minus 105, minus 110, but plus 100 on DraftKings. And again, it's solely based on what I said about how I like the Eagles and the run defense. I like the Eagles and the Packers run defense ain't all that great. But I also really like the idea of, even though they could be in a tush-push situation, they might say, hey, let's get the new kid involved. We're paying them, that type of thing. So Saquon Barkley, 0.5 touchdowns, go score one. Again, it's not rushing touchdowns. It could be receiving or rushing for plus 100 over on DK.
I don't hate it. This is going to be the interesting thing because I don't know how to. It's a very risky prop. I do like it for the value. I've been listening. Obviously, we are in fantasy football season now, so I've kind of been deep diving into all the fantasy podcasts and articles and everything. The one thing with Saquon Barkley that everyone's been mentioning in terms of a fantasy football aspect is how is playing on the Eagles going to affect him scoring touchdowns? Because obviously, if you're running back on the Eagles, all your touchdowns get nerfed by Jalen Hurts.
Right.
So, but Jason Kelce's gone, so I don't know how the tush push will work without Jason Kelce. So, very interesting. I do like it though for plus money. Again, you can do it receiving or rushing. The Packers' run defense was really, really bad. I don't think that gets solved overnight, just because you have a new defensive coordinator. So yeah, I actually like it for plus money.
Again, I kind of think it's also just like say they're on the goal line, they might be like, let's get our new feature back a touchdown. You know what I mean? It's almost like throwing him. It is kind of like throwing him a bone.
Bone.
Like just and yeah. So again, for plus 100, there's some value over there as well. For what it's worth, Saquon had 2 touchdowns against Philly in his last game last year. So maybe that flips and they're like, oh, we like him on the goal line and whatnot. I don't think that has remotely anything to do with it, but you know what?
No, I don't really know. I don't really get the connection there, but that's all right. You know what?
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt whatsoever. He has 2 touchdowns in his last 1 game. I'll take it.
Sure.
All right. What do you got?
I'm just trying to think how you connected that. He scored 2 touchdowns on the Eagles, so therefore they're going to want him to score 2 touchdowns for the Eagles. Okay.
I don't see how that doesn't make sense. In fact,
I mean, sure, it doesn't not make sense, I guess.
Well, it wouldn't be connected if he scored it against like the Commanders. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I thought you were going to go with like, oh, his last game versus the Packers, he scored 2 touchdowns. Like, okay, so yeah.
No. It's because it's against the Eagles and they liked what they saw. Trust me.
Yeah. So now they're going to just.
He did actually, using outlier really quickly here. Guess how many touchdowns he had last time he played against the Packers?
How many? 2.
So there's your connection.
There's
your connection.
There you go. So
you can lead a horse to water, right? But you can't make him drink.
That's a good. There you go. That full circle.
There we go. Yep. There we go.
All right. My player prop. I'm gonna go. Kind of risky here. Kind of piggybacks off of your first pick. I'm gonna go Dak Prescott here. Cowboys over 1.5 touchdown passes. Now again, it's not available on Caesars and BetMGM for minus 105. I know it's not available in every state, but it is available on FanDuel for minus 108. DraftKings minus 110 if you guys are looking for this prop. Dad is really good. 9 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 2.6 touchdown passes per game. Again, the data provided by Outlier. He cashed in 12 out of 18 games last season, including 11 of his last 12 games for the Cowboys. A 92% hit rate over his last 12 games with an average of 2.8 touchdown passes per game. That's numbers. That's like, I just had the Zach Galifianakis like in the Hangover, all the numbers flying by my head. All right. Dad is pretty good on that one, all right? Dak in the regular season, you can criticize him in the playoffs, but regular season, the dude throws touchdowns. And, you got almost even odds here, depending where you're betting it, for over 1.5 touchdowns. Look, they don't have a running. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's the running back one. He was a Patriot last year. I got to watch him. He still has something left in the tank, but he's running on empty. There's not much gas left in that tank. The offensive line's a little bit worse. I don't think they're going to be able to lean in the run game like they have in years past. I think they're going to need Dak to throw the ball a lot more, especially this Browns run defense was one of the best in the NFL last year, and they should be one of the best again this year. So you have a really good run defense, a Cowboys offensive line that takes a step backwards. You have a running back room that's very uninspiring. Dak's going to have to throw the football. I do think they score multiple touchdowns in this game, so I think over 1.5 touchdowns. There you go. That's. Yeah. I just think they're not going to get a lot done on the ground. I don't think there's going to be any goal line touchdowns here. If they're going to score, it's got to be through the air. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to score multiple touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, and the Browns last year bad in the red zone. Dallas likes to throw the ball in the red zone too. So you even forget the fact that they don't have a running back and all that. You would have had an opportunity, like more volume anyways, right? So I like this spot. I kind of wish it was for some plus money, but how can I hate it, right? Like I love Dak Prescott to go throw 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then it helps out that for, you know what I mean? So I feel like kind of weird that we're here like being like we're trying to be like, I don't know if I like this, but like how can you not, right? Like this is a guy that has cashed it plenty, and even what you said, 11 of the last 12, right? It's like
11 of the last
that's
12,
absurd. Almost 3 touchdowns per game. So I can't knock it. And if Cleveland's defense in the red zone last year was maybe better, then you can make they're good, defense. They're a good defensive team and whatnot. But who cares if you're a good defense if the minute you get inside that 20-yard line, you stink. You know what I mean? So could be a spot for them. But I will say, I feel like the Cowboys struggle in the red zone too. So let's see how that works. But you don't need to be in the red zone to score. You could toss one up to CD or something like that too. But like maybe those two cancel out, but definitely doesn't hurt you that they're bad in the red zone defensively. All right, now
I'm a fan of. I think the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys in that game. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, I think that the first quarter I like them there, and then I couldn't care less what happens.
Just the first quarter. After that, who cares?
Now I'm really hoping for like 3 rushing touchdowns from Zeke in the first quarter, then they take their foot off the gas.
I haven't wished bad on any of your picks.
Damn, did I just threw a jinx into a whole vibe we had going on.
Yep, that's fine. I hope I win Fade Me because I got a couple of great ones here.
All right, let's see. Guys, if you don't know what the Fade Me round is, we're jumping into it right now. What this is we're going to spin the wheel. Whoever's name this lands on, is going to have a chance to make any play on the board. The other person has to take the exact opposite, aka they have to fade that person. This was crucial last year, and again, this is like 25% of our 4 picks, right? So one person gets it right, one person gets it wrong, no matter how you dice it up. So this is going to be pretty damn crucial. Tasos wants it, and I'm not going to lie, I feel like I used some of the bullets in my clip here, so I don't mind if you get it, other than that you're so confident. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay to have you give me the pick that I have to roll with, but don't love the confidence. But I did kind of get what I wanted. I wanted Saquon, wanted the Eagles some way, and that Dallas first quarter, like 3 of my top 4-ish plays. So I'm okay with not getting this, but let's see how it plays out. Let's spin it.
Not only am I confident, Ev, I'm so confident that I have multiple picks I'm confident in. Please keep going a little bit more.
Oh, my God.
There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes. All right. You have multiple Fade Me picks. I mean, that's harder, right? That's harder.
So I'm going to start by saying this. I apologize to everybody because it is another Cowboys-Browns bet. And I feel like this whole video has been a Cowboys-Browns preview, but okay. Decision time. I have 2 picks here from the same game that I really like. I'm going to go ahead and go with this one because I did this. This is kind of a throwback to last year, week 1. It worked last year.
Oh,
I'm doing it again.
Oh, no.
Give me Jake Ferguson, anytime touchdown, plus 225 for the Dallas Cowboys. And again, hopefully one of Dak's 2 touchdowns are going to go to Jake Ferguson here, and that's the fade me. Plus 225 is the odds on this one. I think this year, look, the Cowboys, again, I talked about already, the running back room is very weak. The offensive line's not as good. They're not going to be able to run the ball as much as they wanted to. Also, from a receiving standpoint, you've got CeeDee Lamb, yes, and you got Brandon Cooks, but after that, it gets really, really shallow in the wide receiver room. So the third option in this offense is Jake Ferguson, and he is Dak's go-to, next to CeeDee Lamb, I guess you could say, one of his top 2 go-to red zone targets. I think he loves throwing to tight ends. It was Dalton Schultz before. It was Blake Jarwin. It was Jake. He loves throwing to the tight ends. I think Jake Ferguson's due for a pretty good season this year. I do think a touchdown in this game, pretty surefire bet for plus 225. Yeah, I'll take the juice on that.
All right, I don't mind it.
It worked last year. It worked.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of that's a flyer. Now, I will say, I think I'm gonna have, and we're gonna have to find. Not many books offer like an under 0.5, but we'll be able to find something. And what you do with that strategy as well, it's gonna be really juiced to take the under 0.5, or we'll even just use the implied probability to like figure out what the other half of it is. But either way, like, that's a strategy with Fade Me that we used sometimes last year too, where you take like a long shot, and now it bit me in the ass a couple times doing the reverse. But if you take a long shot, even if I win that Fade Me, it's only going to be like a minus 170, minus 180 type of a cash.
You're not going to win many units on
that. So you do kind of pigeonhole me into a spot where there's not like huge upside. So I don't mind it. Now, the only thing I don't like about that, and it's not that I don't think he'll do it. I think he had like 4 or actually, we can look that really up really quickly. He had 3 touchdowns in his last game last year. So it's like, that's pretty damn good, right? The one thing is that I don't like, and it's solely for show purposes here, is that for my side of things, is that Ferguson catches a touchdown, Dak's halfway there. I need all of this to happen in the first quarter. And if the Cowboys go out there and stink out loud in the first quarter, they lose like 7-0, and then this all happens in the second, third, and fourth quarter, that is going to be an absolute swing of events for the round. You know what I mean? Like, it's deciding it to some degree if all that happens. So I'm excited for that. I hate the idea of now I'm so heavily reliant on Cowboys first quarter when it was supposed to be just one round, one pick for me. Now it's almost like I need that to happen, or I could lose that game, which has a lot of implications here. But yeah, I don't necessarily hate the idea of it. You're right. You know, what was it? Witten, Schultz, like all these guys, Dak Prescott kind of makes. And again, going up against a team, I said it about the Dak Prescott passing, like you're going up against a team that does not do too well against teams in the red zone. Looks like they were
literally
19th.
Dead last. The Browns were dead last last year in
red zone efficiency, right? Yeah, so that's crazy. So yeah, I don't mind the spot. I think he's going to get some targets overall. Looks like he got 20% of their red zone targets to close out the year last year too. So yeah, I don't mind the pick whatsoever.
Or plus 225. I mean, it's really about the plus 225. I mean, you really can't.
100%.
Pretty good odds.
Yeah, think about that. Like I mentioned, if the Cowboys don't win the first quarter and you even hit this, screw the Dak Prescott one. That's a almost 3-unit swing because I lost one and you just picked up 2 extra. So yeah. All right, don't mind that. Anything else we got to touch on here?
I think this year we didn't really do it last year. I do think we should put a wager on the line here, besides just obviously the winning and stuff. I feel like we got to put something on the line here, a punishment or somebody wins something. We got to put something extra special on the line here. Just add a little more juice to it.
We do. What should we? I feel like we said that last year too, and then we're like, damn, we don't know what it is. I think we could do something like a chain or a trophy or something that you get like a Super Bowl ring, but that might be like done up. Like we said that at the end of last year, we could do a Super Bowl ring. We could let people in the comments also.
I kind of want to see what people come up for a punishment. If you guys have a punishment for Ev this year, go ahead and comment down below what you think Ev should do this year when he loses again to me this year and fade me. Because I don't know. I mean, I could come up with some ideas, but I think the people should decide on this one.
Yeah, be careful, though. If you think that they're going to come with a harsh punishment just for me, and then all of a sudden you lose, it's going to be like, well, they commented. I got a lot of haters out there. They commented that thinking I would go through it, and you might have to suffer, but it sounds like you're pretty damn confident.
I mean, Ev, you saw last year.
Oh, man, you're such a, you remember back in the day. It's like, hey, I'm the new kid on the block here. It's a new
you're
season.
not really new. You're kind of like the New York Jets, where it's like every year it's kind of the same thing.
Damn. All right. Well, I guess you got an answer for everything, but you know what? I'm going to let my playing do the talking. That's the thing that the Jets would say.
Last year. It did a lot of talking last year. That's for sure.
All right, that is fair enough. But guys, I do want to give another thankful or a shout out of thanks to Outlier. A thankful shout out. I guess that would have made sense if I just kept rolling with it. But shout out to Outlier. You're going to hear about plenty of them throughout the season, not just in our H2H videos here, but they're with us, obviously, overall. Really, really good tool. And a lot of these plays are easily accessible. Like even when Tasos started to bring up the Dak 11 of his last 12, like I was able to find that just by filtering to Dak. They make it super, super simple to find these little insights and whatnot, whether you want to start there or kind of do what me and Tasos do, which is use it based on what we already like and then get confirmation and that type of thing. But it pretty much is an endless pool of information and whatnot in a good way. And they're constantly updating it. Like this point last year, this app and site looked a lot different, and it already looks really good. They have strength of schedule. They have schedule variance, meaning it kind of takes into account the strength of the other team's schedule as well as you're playing. So really cool stuff there, guys. Go ahead and check it out. Again, that link is in the pinned comment and description. 7 days free. Tasos, I'm excited to get going with this weekly. And yeah, we'll come up with a punishment / reward. We could probably do both, right? Punishment for the loser, some sort of a reward, maybe a ring or something for the winner, something like that. So we'll do that. But you got any last words for the people out there?
No, just one thing. I know we're going to suck this year, but go Pats. I hope we go like 3-14 this year, genuinely.
Just to get he's putting
I don't have the pads in this, so it's kind of big, but you know.
Oh, I want to make so many jokes about you should just wear a helmet all the time, but you know what? We're out of time here. You do hit your head a lot just walking around, you know. The first time Tasos ever saw a regular bus, he said, "Whoa, is that a long bus?"
That's a good one. That was a good one. I'll give you that one. Hey. That was a good one.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys.
Back, baby. Let's
Football
go.
is back. Look at this dude. All right. We'll catch you guys in the next one.